Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan,
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
and for this Christmas episode, we watched Love Actually.
So, who here watches this film every year?
I first watched it, and the only time I've watched it was 5 years ago. It annoyed me so much I never wanted to watch it again.
Okay, Dan?
I hadn't watched it in a couple of years. I had watched it like maybe every couple of years or so.
So, I love this film and I watch it every year at least once. Traditionally, I would watch it while decorating the Christmas tree.
Oh, so it's just kind of on in the background while you're. It's not
I mean,
exactly
you
what
don't
you
actually
have to
need much
concentrate
mental
on.
effort. You don't need mental effort to watch to watch Love Actually or decorate a Christmas tree.
And
No,
you
exactly.
do need a distraction whilst trying to watch this film.
No, you do not. I could. This is one of those films where I know like each scene. Like I wouldn't say verbatim because it's only once a year that I watch it, but I do know every single scene.
It's also 2 hours long. I forgot how long it was to start with. Got about 10 minutes in, and I was like, why does this film like it's going to go on forever? And then it did.
It flew by. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it. It doesn't feel like a long film to me when I'm watching it.
No,
Like it's such a pleasant 2 hours.
I genuinely had to take a break from it.
I actually watched it in 2 halves this time purely because the football was on and I had to watch the first hour and then Jim was like, yeah, no. And then I thought, well, I'll do that rather than try and watch it in the other room on my tiny little laptop screen when it deserves my 32-inch. Just about counts as a TV.
Yeah, see, I watched it. I watched the first like 45 minutes, and then I watched an episode of My Family.
Of course, because Nick from My Family, who was the best character in My Family, is
okay. Quick diversion. Has My Family held up?
It did actually surprisingly well, yeah.
Cool, because that is something that I really haven't watched since the like early noughties.
Yeah, since it was airing.
Yeah, I've never like searched it out. It was like on TV regularly, and then it finished, and then that was it. Never saw it again.
The later seasons actually got kind of quite progressive, considering it ended in like 2011. Like it isn't like that old.
Yeah, I remember watching the sort of the finale episode when it came out, but I remember nothing about it.
I was gonna say, like, I remember the premise.
Yeah.
Loosely.
Yep.
Loosely.
And the guy from Love Actually, I've forgotten his name. He's
Colin.
not in it. He's not in. No, the actor's name. Yeah. He's not in My Family that much. He leaves after like 2 seasons.
Yeah, he leaves after
he's like
two
the oldest
seasons.
son. Yeah, he's like the goofy son that goes off to do stuff.
The best part about that is he left My Family because he didn't want to be typecast.
Oh, see, the weird thing is, I've always had this memory that in the first Harry Potter film, in the scene where, like, they're playing Quidditch and Harry's, like, chasing down the snitch and the Slytherin Seeker is next to him, I thought it was that same actor. And I've always thought, and it's not. But in my head, it is, and I don't know why.
He's way too old for that, I think.
Yeah, it was 2001 that the first movie
Well,
came
doesn't
out.
Love Actually prove that you can be any age and play any age?
Yeah, pretty much. So we've got we can try and go through all the characters. There's one set of characters that I forget about every time I watch this, which is Martin Freeman and Stacey from Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
Stars.
Yeah. They're not porn. They are body doubles.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They're just stand-ins for film who happen to be doing a very high-budget porn film.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're stand-ins so that famous people don't want to do their own nude scenes because they're proper actors. And somehow, I always find that charming, but forgettable.
Yeah. Completely irrelevant to the rest of the story.
Yeah, it's just a funny bit that's in there.
I was watching this film trying to work out how much you could cut out, and it would still make sense. Them entirely.
Yeah.
You could remove the guy from My Family. He's gone.
You only find out that Martin Freeman is friends with
Colin's friend.
Is
shooting the film.
That's the one.
Film. Outside of that, there is literally no impact they have on the story. None of them have, honestly, very few characters have any impact.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of they're intertwined, but they don't affect each other very much. Like they're intertwined. Like they're all connected, but they're not. They don't actually have influence over each other's stories particularly.
No,
Connected
exactly.
is a loose term for them.
I mean, the biggest
Especially-
connection is Colin Firth's first girlfriend cheating while he's at the wedding of Keira Knightley and the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and so Emma Thompson is the brother of Hugh Grant, who's the Prime
Yeah.
Minister.
Emma Thompson is the
Emma
brother.
Thompson, not the sister even. She's
Acting.
also
Acting.
is she the sister? Also the sister of Liam Neeson's dead wife? Because they know each other somehow, and I can't remember how. And I
Yeah,
don't.
they're-
They're
at
not
that
brother
point-
and sister.
Again, they
No,
don't,
are they just friends?
I can't remember.
but they interact with each other like once in the film near the
Hmm.
end, so it doesn't matter.
No, there's Rick Grimes, who is just a bit creepy.
Mhm.
Because he wants to bang Mordo's wife, Keira Knightley.
Yeah,
Who
that-
is 18? in this film?
That's a bit weird, actually.
That whole story arc is fucked.
yeah,
And like, I think this is why I didn't like it. Is none of the characters, they're all portrayed to be like they're good people at heart. They do bad things, but they're good people. None of them are good people. I don't want to be friends with any. I don't want to know any of these people. They're all terrible.
Yeah,
Apart from
Colin's
Emma
like,
Thom-
I don't know,
Emma
a pretty
Thompson-
one-track mind.
Emma Thompson and Bill Nighy can they are irrelevant. Emma Thompson, Martin Freeman and the
Gavin and Stacey girl.
Yeah, I've forgotten her name.
I can't remember.
They're
her
all
name.
irrelevant.
Joanna Page.
Joanna Page. They are irrelevant to the story as a whole. They do not count as characters. They don't
I mean,
do
she
anything.
loses points for the really cheesy line, "All I want for Christmas is you."
That can go. But like everyone else in it, apart from Emma Thompson and Bill Nighy is having the best. Bill Nighy
He's
saves this
having the
film.
He's
best
having a lot of
fucking
fun,
time
and
in
actually,
this.
I really
Saves
like
this
I
film.
really like how I mean it's not particularly progressive, I guess now, but the fact
Yeah.
that they have him and his manager, like that's their love story. Is actually them. They are good friends, and Bill Nighy wants to spend time with him more than anyone else. And they actually have a little moment and tear up and cuddle,
Yeah.
which is
But
not
the rest-
very 2003 manly.
No, but the rest of them are just awful people who don't deserve anything. They don't deserve love, as far as I care. Watching it, I'm like, none of these people deserve what they
What
get.
about
at the
Emma
end.
Thompson?
Em-
Actually, no,
Emma
she has that really
yeah.
bad bit where she's really unsympathetic.
I mean, but she doesn't get a good ending.
No, she doesn't.
She continues to like live in a state of my husband may or may not be cheating on me.
With
Well, no, he
the
goes
woman.
away, doesn't he? And then
Yeah.
he goes away for a bit to give her some space, and then comes back at the end.
Yeah, but it's never like at the end she gives him like a weird look, like she still doesn't trust him. Which
Yeah.
fair. He hasn't given her any
No,
reason to.
because
Yeah.
he bought that other woman the necklace.
So,
I love Alan Rickman, but
Yeah,
fuck you.
yeah.
He's
Rickman.
awful.
How could you do that to Emma Thompson?
It's awful.
That scene where she goes and listens to both sides now is just oh,
right?
I just want to give her a hug and kick
Yeah.
him in the nuts.
Yeah,
But that's the
even
other thing, like that character, that girl. What is her name? The one that's literally evil. Like her entire character. is
The
just-
only other thing I know her from is she's in season 2 of Spaced, and she's the one that works for the comic company that Simon Pegg's character is in love with first, but then realizes he actually wants Daisy. That's the only thing I know her from. So fuck knows.
Yeah, she's
I
got
think it's
really
Sarah,
big
isn't it?
eyes.
Yeah, and she happens to live next door to Natalie,
Natalie.
who's the woman who
The
is
love
working
interest with the prime minister.
working for the
Yeah.
prime minister, and I do like that sort of story arc. That one's quite sweet. Like yeah.
again,
Yeah.
hate the prime minister in this.
Why do
I-
you hate Hugh Grant
in-
as the prime minister?
I think it's because
I'm-
he turns to a big picture of I've forgotten her name, the old Tory
Maggie?
bitch, yeah, and he's like,
Maggie Thatcher
Yeah.
for our foreign listeners who might not
yeah.
know.
So it's like hard to tell what his stances are because obviously they try and make it vague. But yeah, he was probably a Tory.
Well, I don't know because this came out during Blair.
Wasn't
Yeah, so he
Icon,
might be
yeah.
a Tory.
Yeah.
So, well,
I-
Tory light.
I think
whatever.
they
Let's-
just. I think they were
Hey,
just.
I love that old
yeah,
politics.
they were
Love
just
that
trying to
detail
keep it
they
vague
put
so
into
that
it.
Yeah, no, he's not obviously either.
Either way, no.
Um,
My problem with him as number one, it's an incredibly unrealistic portrayal of a prime minister because people are clapping, and that doesn't happen. No one likes the prime minister ever. But then, like he will.
do people like Blair?
Not really.
I mean, up before the war crimes.
Maybe, but clapping like a
Mm.
round of applause is a bit weird.
Haven't we
Um,
demonstrated this year that Brits will clap for fucking anything?
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's happy to ruin international relations for a personal dig, which is admittedly the most prime minister thing his character ever
I mean, his
does.
cabinet did say we need to stand up to them, and then he was like, "No, let's not," and then he does.
He did it in the
But
in
it's
the
bad.
worst way possible.
It's not diplomatic. It's not what you want from your head of state. Well, not head of state, but whatever the prime minister is.
And it's entirely like for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
he-
yeah,
he
it's because the
kisses
president
the
kisses
girl.
the girl he fancies.
Yeah. Which
Tony
again,
Blair actually did comment on that. I'm not sure if you guys saw.
No. No,
Yeah,
of course I didn't.
I'll dig out the quote.
What was it, recent?
Yeah.
He's only just watched the film.
He's only just seen it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hate him from stuff like as a prime minister, he's a terrible. He's also just a boring person.
I just
I don't-
really fucking love the scene where he's like dancing through the building to Girls Aloud. That's it.
Yeah.
Because with their cover of Jump. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I do really like that scene.
It's really funny, and
Yeah.
it's very like it's one of these films that I think because I enjoyed it a lot as a kid because there's so much physical comedy and silly things. I didn't really understand what Colin was doing, but he was funny, enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
And then like the scenes where they're like naked and it's all kind of naughty is funny with Martin Freeman. Yeah, there's lots of physical comedy and like just obviously the kids plot where he's in love with that girl Joanna.
Yeah, Liam Neeson's stepson, even.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Liam Neeson and 25-year-old.
Before we move on to that, I'll just read out the quote from Tony Blair. 'Cause this came out in he responded in 2005, so it just took him a couple of years.
Admittedly, he had to
Um,
watch the film and that. took him a while.
Yeah, remember when like Bush 2 was like the most incompetent president we could imagine?
Yeah.
Mm.
Wasn't that nice? Anyway,
Yeah.
I know there's a bit of us that would love me to do a Hugh Grant in Love Actually and tell America where to get off. But the difference between a good film and real life is that in real life there's the next day, the next year, and the next lifetime to contemplate the ruinous consequences of easy applause.
Yeah. See, I didn't think I'd ever agree with
Tony
Tony
Blair.
Blair, but that is kind of why it annoyed me so much.
And the fact that
Awful.
he's praised as like the hero of the hour and
Yeah, like everyone's talking. I can't imagine anyone in England being like, "Wait, the prime minister." No, it'd be.
Oh,
what a
you
fucking
don't
idiot.
think people would enjoy the Prime Minister deciding that cutting connections with a bunch of really nice and powerful places would be a good idea?
Mhm. But people don't applaud it. People wouldn't applaud it that way. I don't think. And like, it is just stupid the amount. And then it's like stupidly announced that Emma Thompson is his sister by them like announcing it 5 times in the same conversation in one phone call. They
Yeah.
say brother and sister like 6 times.
yeah.
Oh,
But I guess in
sometimes
that way it is trying to be a family. I say it's not really. It's when I say it's a family film, like it's got
It's
a lot
not.
of swearing in it. What's the rating?
I imagine like a 15
15.
Yeah, I think this has got to be
or
a
like
15.
a 12A.
Like, it's got like full on nudity and a lot of swearing in it.
Oh, it's a 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a 15.
Yeah. There's no cunt, but there is a lot of fuck, and there is.
No, they can't legally show that on. Uh,
They'd have to get a body double for
moderate
that.
coarse
Get a
language. In
body
case,
double.
the word is used conversationally and is not used aggressively.
Yeah, which it's an English film. It's gonna. On another part on it being a film made in England, none of them sound like they have real English accents. None of them.
Which is weird
Like-
because they're all English, right?
Yeah, but they all
Apart
sound
from
like
like obviously like Laura Linney and
but they all sound like they're putting on an accent, and I don't know whether it's just the
Emily.
director's-
Is her name Emily?
I don't know.
You
There are
know
so
the
many
Cockney
characters.
girl, the Hugh Grant's in love with.
Natalie.
Yeah.
Natalie.
Yeah.
Honestly.
She sounds. Where the fuck is my fucking coat? Is a
Yeah.
little bit British.
Yeah, but
Um,
I just all of them sound kind of fake, and I don't know whether it's just how it's recorded because I think a bit of this is ADR, and I don't know if it's
okay.
just like if you put an English accent in
That
ADR.
that
it
isn't
sounds
something
weird.
I really like picked up on at all. I thought it was. Yeah, their
I-
accents were fine, but maybe I'm just really used to their voices because I've seen
Yeah.
this film, at
I-
least 20 times?
I think watching other films this director has made, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Like it's very clean. His
Mm.
like the audio and everything is very clean.
It is actually quite a pretty film as well. I know
It
it's
is.
easy to be pretty in London at Christmas.
No, it's a very
Um,
well made film. I just don't like any of the characters. I want to get that clear. This film is a very good film. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say it's a bad film.
Did you have a good time watching it?
No, because
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like none of the characters are redeemable for me apart from like 2 of them. The
So
rest of them are
who's
awful.
redeemable?
Who's redeemable?
Nye.
Then I want to
Bill
go
Nye
through
Nye.
the top.
and Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
They're great.
That's it. They're the
Who's
only
your
2
top most hated characters in this?
Oh, the fucker that held the signs outside the door.
yeah,
like
Rick
the-
Grimes
The
doing
artist.
that is awful.
Yeah,
it's
because
like, yeah, he has no reason to be in love with Keira Knightley. He just thinks she's hot.
yeah, and not even that. Like that, he hasn't talked to her. He
No.
talked to her like once, and in that conversation, they were like, we've never even looked at each other before." And he's spent the whole of a wedding filming her. How is she not like that? Fucking creepy. She's just got married. I'm sorry.
She's
Well,
just got married to
he's not-
his best friend.
Who
Yeah.
best friend's fiance, girlfriend, then wife. Not in that order. I got that wrong.
Weird kind of
He's in love
arranged
with
marriage.
he's in love with her and I assume for a long time and never managed to get over her, despite
Yeah,
obviously
but-
watching.
Had never talked to her before.
No, it's not that he hadn't talked to her before. It was that he'd always been really standoffish with her because, and you find out, and he says so, it was like a defense mechanism because he didn't want to, he couldn't bear being close and chummy with her because it hurt him too much.
Yeah, so instead of doing that, he decided to convince her to leave her husband and his best friend.
No, he doesn't do that.
Yes, he does.
She doesn't actually leave him though.
No, God, no. So like he says like, I just want you to know that I do love you and that you're perfect, but I'm gonna move on now, and
Yeah,
that's what he does.
does that not... No, he doesn't. He doesn't move on. We see that end bit there. But
Yeah,
that's
but he says
emotional-
enough
that's-
now. In the most, actually, yeah, that bit does sound ADR. And
It's
a bit weird.
it's also emotional manipulation. It's awful. If someone did that in real life, I wouldn't be going, "Oh,
Yeah,
how
no,
sweet."
this film is chock block full of. If you did this thing in real life, you'd be fucking weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
But not even fucking weird. I'd be like, that person is
Slash arrested.
probably abusive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
person's probably not okay to be around.
Yeah, like that wedding video starts off quite pretty, but then when it's just close-ups of her face,
Right?
it is just weird, and it's like,
Again,
is he wanking to it? Like, why
if-
is he?
and it's edited as well. Which
Well, like,
I
he is
get
he
is,
is an
like, within
artist,
the-
so that kind of
But
makes
that-
sense.
But he was like, I don't have it. I don't have it filmed. He's edited and put it together,
Yeah.
which I know for the film like just makes that scene easier rather than having like loads of different clips. But it does imply that he sat down,
No, but
edited this video.
Yeah, well,
of-
of course he
No,
did,
but
but it's like,
was
what
it
did he do it
edited?
for?
was it
Yeah.
edited or was it just because it was a VHS tape recorder that he had?
No, that
and
was
he
absolutely
just
edited.
turned it like only filmed her and was like turning it off when he wasn't filming anything else.
No, that's not what it looks like.
No,
when you do
it does look
that.
edited,
It's
but he's
edited.
he is an artist. He runs a gallery. Like, if anyone in the film is likely to be able to edit,
No, my
videos.
problem isn't that he can edit. My problem is that he did.
yeah, no,
With-
it's creepy.
With no
it's creepy.
intention of giving it away.
Yeah, no, it's for his own personal use, which I
Yeah.
think is the creepy bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what makes the ending creepy because it's like I don't believe
He's
him.
obsessed with her. Like he's
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, and it's unhealthy. Even
It-
if he does eventually acknowledge that he needs to get over her at the end.
But it feels like the whole
The
like I'll get it.
whole-
It feels like emotional manipulation, and it's just
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what he says. Like, there's no agenda, but if there's no agenda, don't fucking do it, you weirdo.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So there is some sort of agenda, but with the
Yeah.
agenda to like make her realize that he does love her, he's acknowledging it. That's why he's been acting this way. He's going to change how he acts, and hopefully then they'll be able to have like a normal friendship.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe. I
Yeah.
got the opposite vibe.
And she does run up and give him a big smooch on the lips,
Right.
which I was like, I wouldn't be okay with my fiance doing that.
hmm
And
It
she's
also
his
get
wife at that point.
Well, why?
Yeah.
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 yeah, and also like what makes that scene worse is the best friend and the husband never finds out.
Yeah.
That he's put on like
He's
a
always
fake...
like, just be nice to her, and it's like.
But
yeah.
during that card scene, he's got fake music playing,
Yeah.
fake carol singers playing, and when she opens the door, he's like, "Shh, don't tell him I'm here." Like that's alarm bells.
Yeah.
That's red flags because it implies that he's going to say, "Don't tell him about anything," and he
Yeah,
kind of
'cause
deserves to know,
Sometime after this, he's gonna find out. That's all gonna go down the shitter. Like,
right? I want to
Yeah.
see a sequel where everything goes, all of them are divorced.
Oh god,
Love-
that'd be so depressing.
Which is love, maybe not.
Love, actually, no.
Yeah, I think that's my core problem. Is this is set up so it feels like they're all going to get divorced.
So Emma Thompson is actually the first domino falling.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. But again, it's a very nice. Thomas Brady Sanger looks fucking.
Isn't he just darling?
He looks like that still.
I know, it's crazy, isn't
It's
it? This
mad.
guy has not aged.
Yeah, That's
13 in this, playing a 10-year-old, which is fine.
yeah, but
But
he could.
the fact that there's
still-
5 years between him and Keira Knightley in this film is just wild.
Yeah, the ending for him is weird. Again, he did nothing wrong. Dan did. He did nothing wrong.
It's very weird that he and they also acknowledge that this is set post 9/11 because
Yeah, no, that's a
they
Yeah.
very weird
like
opening.
they mention it
That's
like in the
such a
two. They actually like they
strange
bring up the
opening.
two towers, and I'm like, I guess it's near enough. Obviously,
You
it's
kind of
2003.
have to
It is.
mention it.
You do acknowledge it, especially if you've got like a Heathrow Airport scene.
Yeah,
But it's then
Where
the
a
fact
kid
that they have a
fucking
big
runs
plot
through.
hinging on him
running
storming,
through.
through it, and not getting shot.
Yeah,
Like
I-
that's one of the few places they do have guns and are quite
yeah. And it's Thomas Brady Sanger. He could be 25 there.
Yeah.
You don't know. He's a child. He might not be.
He could just be a very short terrorist.
I feel like they added that opening. The mentioning of 9/11 feels it's so sparse throughout the film. It feels like everything was filmed before 9/11 happened, and then they were like, it was written before 9/11 happened, and then
okay.
it was like we have to mention it
Yeah.
because it has no bearing.
Yeah, it really doesn't affect the plot at all. But it's weird. It like I guess at the time it maybe makes more sense that they acknowledge it, but now like that hasn't aged well because it's like obviously not over it. I don't think it's something that you can get over, like the
No.
sheer enormity of it. When I think of like the attacks that we've had in the UK, it's
No, like,
still
it-
nothing compared
it
to what they went
changed.
through.
How a lot was done.
Yeah.
And I think if they didn't have the bit at Heathrow, I don't think they would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because it would have made that scene feel really jarring
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
watched it without that. But having it in, it made the beginning feel weird because it is right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
the first sentences in the movie from the voiceover man.
It's Hugh Grant.
Oh, it is Hugh Grant, yeah. Another thing to do with Heathrow Airport that I find incredibly unrealistic in this movie is that so many people just get flights around Christmas and with no issue.
Yeah, no
Like,
problem.
I know it's for plot, but it's like, surely there'd be queues.
Yeah, they have no problem.
Like, at least queue. There's no way Colin Firth is going to be able to hop on a plane, like, on, Christmas Eve or the day before, and be
Yeah.
able to get to Spain?
Yep, same. The word actually no, another character that isn't inherently an awful, terrible human being is the guy from My Family.
I see. All he wants to do is have sex.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing to do. He gets very lucky in America.
He gets very, like, wait, do you think Colin Firth's character is a bad character as well, or?
No.
I prefer his no, but he has no impact. That's the other side of it. They either are
Well,
terrible.
This
or they
story
have
isn't
zero
about
impact.
impact. It isn't about this all leading towards this grand finale where they all get into like involved in each other's lives. It leads to them all being in love.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't like that. But I don't like that it's 2 hours long. Again, if I can cut things out, I will.
Yeah, so you could have cut out. He's one that you really could have cut out, and
Yeah.
you could have cut out the other. He's not really particularly intertwined.
Nope. The guy that went to
Um,
America, you can get rid of him. I feel like you could without refilming anything, you could cut him out.
Yeah, you could definitely do a Love Actually light
Yeah.
I
for like an hour and 20
might.
minutes.
I might do.
But I like Colin there as the light relief. Not that you need much because this film isn't particularly heavy, but you do have the funeral scene. Like I tear up at that scene every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and then it does. I think the next scene is Colin, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
think so. I can't remember the exact order that everything goes in. I do also like the kids Christmas nativity play at the end where they've got that many kids they have to add the extra random things. So there's the Christmas lobster and the octopus and just
Yeah,
all the other
and-
yeah.
random shit. Like
I'm
None of that.
I'm a lobster. First lobster. Yeah. So what nativity stuff have you guys done? I was Babushka once in Babushka. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but it was the highlight of my
Yeah.
acting career.
yeah, in a Christmas nativity, I was a shepherd when I was like a little kid. I think I had a tea towel wrapped around my head.
Yep.
And
Classic.
I just saw my mum in the crowd and started crying. So
Bless.
that's about the extent of it for me, though.
Yeah, no, I went to a very Christian school, so it was just very standard nativity. It was
No
nothing interesting happened.
No T-Rex
was-
then.
No,
No
just very
Daleks.
standard.
I did quite enjoy the little preview that they do where Emma Thompson and her kids perform, and she's reading aloud, and they've just got a stand-in Barney the dinosaur rocking in a little. I think it
Oh,
was a magazine stand or something.
I feel so sorry for Emma Thompson in this film.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve any of it. And like Alan Rickman's such a dick. He's a great
Well, that's the
artist.
thing. I don't quite get. Like, he's obviously he appreciates the attention from this girl, but what does she want? Like, is she attracted to him? Is it money? Like, does she want him to be a sugar daddy? Like, she doesn't. As much as she makes her intentions clear in that she's DTF, she doesn't make her other intentions clear. Like in this film, and actually in most films he's in, Alan Rickman not hot.
No,
I know he's rich and powerful in this film because he's obviously like the boss of this big company that like half the crew work for. But I don't know why she's
No.
after him.
Also reminds me of another character who we've forgotten about that could not be in it, which is the woman that works for his company who's in love with the other guy that works there, but
Carl.
she's got a really ill. Is it her brother or is it?
Yeah,
her...
it's her brother.
Yeah. So she can't. So she obviously has to put him
He
as
calls
a
her
priority.
a lot because
Yeah.
he's not very well. He's obviously
Yeah.
got quite a lot of mental illness, disability.
again,
He's
cut
in
that
he's
out.
in a care home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cut that out because it's really heartbreaking. Like that sex scene where they finally get together and like her brother calls and then like asks her to come over and she does, and it's like, yeah, that guilt of you've got to be there for
Yeah.
your brother, but at the same time, man, like, yeah, he doesn't make it easy either, and he's obviously
Yeah.
in a worse position than she is. But
Individually, these are very, very good. Apart from the ones that are like go nowhere,
Yeah.
very good short films.
Yeah.
I just don't like how they've been put together.
okay,
And the message of some of them is like, oh, people go through hard times, but love is still love. And in some of those instances, it's not okay how they end. Like you shouldn't. No, I don't think you should teach a kid that you should throw everything away for love. I don't think you should teach a kid that when they're 10. I think it's a weird thing to sort of.
I think it is weird, but at the same time, like he's so the real love story is not a love story, but the real love there is actually the bonding that he does with his stepdad after the death of his mum.
Yeah, that's fine. Like that could have been done a different way. I think.
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
I'm
weird
not on
message
board
to
with
say.
children running, like obsessing over a girl and running through Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, that's weird, and it felt like they wanted that ending because that's like typical rom-com ending.
It's almost a parody, isn't it?
Yeah, and it felt weird that they gave it to a kid when there are other characters they could have given it to.
Yeah, but they'd have been shot.
They would have probably been shot, yeah.
Or at least tasered.
Yeah.
Or arrested at minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they just sort of give him back.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't want to talk to the dad.
Or like, surely you'd be like escorted out of the hospital and like maybe given a ban.
Long conversation with the dad about that's not okay to let your child do that.
Yeah.
But that would have changed the pacing quite a lot.
just
Real weird
just another
ending.
hour.
Honestly, I'm okay with them. It is like you said you don't like that. You don't understand the girl that is in love with Alan Rickman. You don't understand her motives. I'm very glad they didn't put them in. I can't do it. Another scene.
Oh, but yeah, no, I suppose. But maybe it was cut. Maybe her bits were edited out because it is obviously a hench film.
Can't believe anything was edited out of this film.
Love Actually director's cut.
No.
You know, they did a revisit.
What do you mean? They've made it again?
They did a Love Red Nose Day, actually.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh.
I know they did that.
I can't remember how Red Nose Day works, but then they just sort of have a show and then they do clips or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
They do specials from like
Yeah.
Doctor Who and everything, which feels like Red Nose Day as a thing is less common in
Not as
recent
big
years.
as it used to be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still
Also,
on,
not
but-
big as it used to be. Christmas #1.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Piece of
that was
shit.
it. I
No
was
one cares
thinking,
now. The last
No
time
one-
anyone cared was when Rage Against the Machine got to #1 because fuck
Yeah.
X Factor.
Yeah, everyone was just fed up with it. It was always X Factor, which they
Yeah.
do obviously sort of
Yeah,
mention, like these the was it Blue? Who
Blue,
they
yeah.
were legit. Were they a legit boy band?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
a real boy band, yeah.
I
With
do
that
love-
little bit with Anton Deck, of course, because it's a British film, so it's got
No,
to
you
have
mean
Anton
Ant or Deck?
that was the best
Yeah,
line
that
in the
line,
entire
that
film.
throwaway line was
Yeah.
so
Was,
good.
Okay, and all day.
Deck.
The whole film's worth it now. That makes up for
And then
quite
just
a lot
the
of
the bit after where he's just like, you know, don't buy drugs, kids. Become a rock star. They'll give them to you for free. And they're like, no, we're cutting. Bye.
Yeah, time for a commercial break.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, no,
his
Bill
character's
Nighy
brilliant.
has so much fun making this film.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just having the best fucking time.
Yeah, I did enjoy the little radio show backflip that he does.
Great.
I love the setup for that, where the guy was like, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen! Like this pile of shit record," and like the other guy in the other booth in the studio was like, "No, no." It's like, "Oh, he's on next with my friend."
Oh, it's great. His entire thing, there is nothing wrong with his art.
And I love that
There's
he
nothing wrong
he
with it.
knows that it's a disingenuous cash grab of a record. What do you
Yeah.
call it? A festering turd of a record.
Yeah. He was
Um,
just like, we just don't want it to be another stupid pop song.
yeah, which is sort of what happened with Rage Against the Machine, except it wasn't a shitty comeback. It was just, was it Killing in the Name of?
Yeah.
And like on top of Christmas, number ones aren't really a thing anymore. Christmas films aren't really. People don't make more Christmas films now, and they're not as like big cinema breaking Christmas films.
Though there was that Elfie one that came out last year.
I mean, if you can't name it,
Oh, well, I didn't watch it. It had
Yeah.
that girl in it, you know, with the face.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
yeah, Emma Thompson.
One of not an Olsen, but someone who looks a bit like that. Oh, that's going to bug me now.
There was the one with the most obvious plot that came out with Daenerys from Game of Thrones in called Last
That's
Christmas.
the one I'm thinking of.
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Is she an
Yeah.
elf? I don't know. I've not seen it. I know what happens though.
She works as an elf she works in a shop and has to dress up as
Yeah.
an elf at Christmas.
The whole plot of that is, so she has a heart transplant, so she gets given a new heart, and then she starts falling in love with a guy who, if you think of the Wham song, he's a ghost.
Yeah. Again, is it weird? Didn't
Yeah,
sell well.
it
I
didn't
can't-
because it's really fucking obvious what's going to happen in it.
But-
She has another heart attack, rejects her transplant, and dies.
That's
No, they
it.
get a third transplant. It's also a ghost. This one,
Yeah.
by the way, Goblin. I mean, like they make a lot of Christmas films, but none of them feel like they have the impact that they used to.
Yeah.
No, and it was there's so many like straight to TV Hallmark Christmas
yeah,
movies, and
They're
like
wild. They're my favorite kinds because they're just batshit. They're an hour long and they're just insane because the woman falls in love with a man who turns out to be Santa.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a joke. That's one of them.
I did enjoy the one. I think I can't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast or if I was just chatting to you guys at the time. But the one that was like literally like kittens have to take over from Santa because he goes into some sort of
Santa
allergy.
pause.
Santa pause. Yeah,
That
he has
sounds
to
about
go
right.
into. He goes into some sort of coma
Yeah.
because he's allergic to cats, and they have to deliver the rest of the presents.
Great.
I really
Perfect.
liked,
I really hope it's the
Well,
cats
it's all
from
live
Pokemon.
action with actual kittens,
I really
and
hope
you
it's
can
the cats
you can
from
see
Cats
the
and
red
Dogs.
lasers where they're getting the cats to like go from one side of the scene to the other.
Great. I had no problem with
Yeah,
that.
I really liked Arthur Christmas, the animated one that came out a while ago with
Oh,
James
is that
McAvoy.
good?
That one's really, that one was good. I liked that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I like the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I
I
bet
quite
you
like that
I bet
film.
you love Elf, Mikey.
I
That
hate
seems like a
Elf.
real film that you'd love.
So much. I hate
Elf's
Elf
fucking
so
great.
I hate Elf
so
too.
Do you
to be
actually?
fair.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
picking
Oh,
Elf
it's
next year.
it's one of the actors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actors with a capital.
Yeah.
Mikey hates me.
Yeah. The Santa
Oh,
Claus is
yes.
great though. Like,
Santa
you
Claus
know.
is great. I like those weird ones that just kind of happened and
Yeah.
There was a lot of like takeover one. Well, I guess Arthur Christmas is that, isn't he? He's like a apprentice or their son or
become
something.
Santa. Yeah. Santa Hurt
Um,
become Santa is the best.
Or Santa retiring, got to step up to the plate, kind of.
There's a lot, but like current Christmas films that come out, they're all very like, my family don't know that I'm married. Oh, I'm gonna go see my family over Christmas, and it's gonna be awkward. And we kind of hate each other.
The
That's my
last,
favorite best arc is like, and we
Yeah.
actually kind of hate each other.
the last takeover for Santa one I can think of is the Netflix one that came out a couple of years ago with Kurt Russell as Santa. That one was pretty good. They got a sequel. I didn't watch the sequel though. There's Klaus from 2019. That one I highly recommend. That was a very really nice animated Christmas movie. I might watch that again actually this year.
But yeah, in general, they don't make Christmas films. They don't make Christmas films like they used to. No, they don't. They also-
Oh no, there's
yeah.
one coming out now that's just come out called A Boy Called Christmas.
That's
Yeah.
a shit name.
They make them, but they don't have the same impact.
Yeah.
There's no like.
I think it was straight to
Christmas,
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with like Christmas songs as well, where it's like you
Yeah.
don't get the big Christmas hits. Like
No, you get the same three. So someone tries every year. Someone tries to make a Christmas song, and it's like, no, it'll be Mariah Carey or Wham again.
I mean, so out of 10, how many different stories interwoven do? Actually, no. I have a more particular question, Mikey. Out of 10, how much did the Rowan Atkinson scene annoy you?
I genuinely I had to take a break Again, I don't understand why any other actor could have done that scene and it would have been funny. But
I thought it was great.
both scenes he was in, I couldn't watch.
Just the
Oh,
He's
like
in at
I
the
thought
end.
I saw it and I did think of you. Thinking,
Again,
oh, I
It's
bet
just-
Mikey's
it's a-
having a great time.
it's
If
a
it
great
was
plot
anyone
device
else.
too, like in terms because it's something you can imagine happening of just a ridiculously long gift wrapping process. But
And
obviously,
would
yeah.
have been- it was funny. I can see why it's funny. And any other actor, I would have been like, most other actors, I would have been like, sure, this is a great scene.
It
But
could have
for
just
some reason,
also
just
been Alan Rickman.
his face.
But also, how ballsy of Alan Rickman in such a dickish way to go and buy a Christmas
Yeah,
present
right.
for his affair
Yeah,
mistress
yeah,
like with his wife literally just popping around the corner to go and buy Christmas presents.
yeah.
Also, how lazy of him! Like, I really hate that dynamic of like the wife organizing all the Christmas presents. It really pisses me off. I know that it's a bad relationship. It's not supposed to be like
Yeah.
a good example of a family, but
Yeah.
she is sort of supposed to be a good example of a mum and a wife, and the fact that she does like
Everything.
and it's like, oh, I'll do the duty round, I'll go and do the Christmas presents, or which Christmas present should we give our
Yeah.
friend's daughter who he probably doesn't even know. It's all her. I guess she's a stay-at-home mum.
Yeah.
But still, he could be a little bit more involved. When they're
Yeah.
out shopping together, it's the fact that she just ditches him to go and do it. Not so that he can go and buy her a present,
No, because
but
he
just
knew
because
that
she doesn't want to
was
drag him around because he's probably not.
awful at it.
Yeah.
And also, like, he bought this thing that he knew he had to keep secret from his wife,
No, he
and
leaves it in his
couldn't be
pocket.
asked to wrap it himself.
He
was
leaves
like,
it
"No,
in
I
his
want it
pocket, and the
gift
fact that he
wrap."
buys the CD that's the same. Oh, it's just. And he's
Oh,
proud of himself for getting her that fucking CD.
yeah, right.
Which
right?
she
Now you're
probably
understanding
already
why I'm
has.
angry.
Yeah.
It's not a CD. It's not like he got her like Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell's like still writing and still making, and it's like her new album. It's
And
yeah.
there's no like story attached to the album. If it was like, oh, he bought her an album and that's the twist, but it's like a really important album to their life and it means
No, it's
quite a
just
lot.
that she likes Joni Mitchell. She mentions it earlier. He
Yeah.
gets her a Joni Mitchell CD.
Yeah, if it was like, oh, this is the song to our first dance, is this song, or like we listened to this a lot. There's no story attached
Yeah,
to it.
and there's a
that
better
makes
way of like, okay, a
so
signed
much work.
like a signed Joni Mitchell album or a signed Joni Mitchell poster might have more meaning, but the CD that she probably already owns.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's that disconnected from the relationship at that point. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, which
It's just
isn't
sad.
good.
And it's weird that he thinks that's effort, and he's also the reason he's put that effort in is because he feels guilty about
Yeah.
obviously
yeah, he's
shagging.
not
I
getting
mean,
her
what
the
do you
usual
guys think?
scarf.
Do you think he sleeps with her? Do
Probably,
you think? Yeah,
it's implied. Probably.
it's never like spelled out, but yeah.
I'm glad it isn't. If I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, there's enough with Martin Freeman and the other woman in it. I don't really want to see Alan Rickman's naked body on screen.
Also, just
So
enough-
I would give this it's got to be 9
wow.
extra lobsters present at the birth of Jesus out of 10. Full papier-mâché. It's got its flaws, it's got its annoying bits, but I will watch this every year, every year. And it was a joy to watch it this year and actually sort of try and analyse it, even if that obviously brought up some glaring holes in it. But I love this film, and I love it. Makes it sort of, it feels like the start of Christmas for me.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, yeah, you have those traditions that you watch every year, and it's nice to have. Like,
Is it sad that I normally watch it alone?
No, I think
Cool.
a lot. Of
I think
people
it's a lot
watch-
of people don't want to watch it with me.
Yeah,
no,
a lot of people don't want to watch Christmas movies.
no, the most important question is how much chocolate do you eat while you're watching it? This
The
is
syrup
definite.
very good.
This is
but-
a whole Cadbury's milk tray movie.
Even the Turkish delight.
I
Yeah.
mean, you've got time. You're not right.
Yeah,
you
does
say
it count
that
as
like-
binge eating if it takes you 2 hours?
Yeah, that's a normal pace. I feel like I should, just because it's nice to have a sandwich of good and bad. At the
Yeah.
end. Four completely unneeded storylines that don't contribute anything. But the length, I have no nostalgia for this film. Surprisingly, I understand that it's a good film. I understand that it's put together quite well. I understand all that stuff. I just hate so many of the characters are bad people,
Yeah.
and the film makes it out that they're not, and I don't like that. I don't like that the message for a lot of these people who are quite bad people is it's fine because it's Christmas and it's actually love. No, no, that these things aren't okay. And
Yeah, don't make creepy videos of your best friend's wife.
and then don't go round to her house, tell her not to tell him anything, and say that you're actually in love with her, but you're not going to do anything. Anyway, that's fine.
That's
For
fair.
because I don't get on with this film. I didn't get on with it when I first watched it. Don't get on with it now.
Right.
I don't hate Christmas, by the way.
Bah,
No,
humbug.
I
That's what I
actually
say.
like Christmas. I want Christmas to be good every year. It's not my fault that it's a bit shit.
Well, yeah, I think I'd have to give this an 8, like 8 tentacles on the paper mache octopus.
Yep.
like yeah, I do really enjoy it. Like, yes, there's like issues. It's not like it's just easy to watch. I find like it's just a one to have on where you just like, yeah, it's a nice film, and you don't like end the film fucking crying your eyes out because it's really sad
don't?
either, which is
Oh.
nice.
I cry at the end.
Well, yeah, but it's like more of a happy
It's a
cry
happy
than a
cry.
like this is
definitely.
really sad kind of
You
thing.
know, I was so happy it was over.
That's why you cried. You were crying in joy. Like, it's finished.
I like that you say it's so easy to watch. Like, yeah, it's so easy to watch whilst you're watching an episode of a different show.
Yeah, I feel like it can perform the same function as the remember the Netflix film of a fireplace?
Yeah, The Fireplace. The best thing Netflix has ever put out.
Well, with that, I have been Dan,
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. All the links should be in the show notes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I forgot to mention there's a Dido song in this film that
there is a
ages it.
Dido song. No, the
Oh.
songs are pretty good. I will say the songs are pretty good.
There is a good soundtrack.
It won an Oscar for music.
Good as it should.
Because yeah,
Did it win an Oscar for anything else?
no.
Good as it should.
Oh shit, no, actually, 10 wins.
For fuck's sake.
No, sorry, it won 10 wins, but not BAFTAs. It
Oh.
only won.
I don't know how to feel.
Is BAFTA? Wait, no, BAFTA's different.
Completely
Yeah.
different to an
There's-
Academy Award.
BAFTAs, Oscars, the other ones.
It's the BAFTAs, Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, and Tonys are like the
Yeah.
big ones. Which is how you get an EGOT, is when you get
Yeah.
all of them. Which one of the best ones, people that have an EGOT is woman with no eyebrows. What's her name? Dreadlocks. I can't remember her name. Oh my god, it just went as soon as I started to say that.
Whoopi Goldberg?
Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg has an EGOT. She got an EGOT. She got an Emmy,
Yeah.
Grammy.
Well, I mean, she's been a busy girl. She's done a lot of things.
That was quite early as well. It wasn't like recently that she got it. Sister Act got her quite a few.
Yeah.
Actually,
What
I
about-
might just be totally wrong. I don't think it got
Doesn't matter.
any.
We have our
Oscars.
ending. We have our ending.
Yeah, what
We
about
can
Sister
go.
Act 2 Back in the Habit?
Great film. I love Sister Act.
When are we going to end this episode?
I've stopped
Don't at
recording.
me.
I've
I got it
stopped
wrong.
I'll
I'm
stop
sorry.
recording.
We have a good out on me going as it should. Immediately
Feel
forgot
it in my fingers.
I can read it in my toe.
Feel it in my toes. Yeah.